God of War Ragnarok Valhalla's DLC is absolutely insane. For a roguelike DLC and one that's free, they've jam-packed so much new story and lore into this that I just absolutely love listening to it. They've managed to tell us stories about the characters that we'd never heard before, and tell us backstories of how characters met, and today, we have a banger of a story to share with you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the secret ending of the God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC, one that most of you will probably miss, but one that will describe in detail the backstory of Mimir and Sigrun. Do you guys remember this clip from the start of the DLC?
Come.
Sigrun, maybe later we could continue with that one conversation, eh?
For once, Mimir, I think you've said enough.
Ah, right then.
Well, the story that I'm about to tell you guys will tell you everything you need to know about this exact moment, and it will flesh out everything. So, if you're enjoying the God of War story content, this could go on to tell us more about how potentially the next God of War game could move mythology. Where the mythology is, I don't really know. Check the link down below in the description if you guys want to see all of the hints and teasers of all of the different mythologies, weapon-wise, and what was said in this Valhalla DLC. Then there's a video down below you can go check out, and it goes into detail with everything. But this one secret ending could be the way that we move mythology. Really, really interesting. So if you're enjoying the God of War content, again, please do consider leaving a like on today's video, and one also consider subscribing to the channel as well whilst you're down there for loads more lore and story content that's coming pretty much every single day until we've run out of things to upload on this game. So without further ado everyone, let's dive straight in. The story itself begins as Kratos and Mimir go to enter Valhalla. Mimir wanted to continue on a conversation that him and Sigrun had both started at some point a few days prior to this point, with them both being here at the same time. However, Sigrun didn't want to hear about anything right now and shut Mimir down pretty quickly. Kratos, however, was conscious of this, and with him and Mimir building a closer bond with one another since the 2018 game, well, he wanted to know what was going on in Mimir's mind. Kratos asked what happened. The other night, Sigrun and Mimir were left alone in a cabin after Kratos dropped Mimir off there. They stayed up all night. Mimir told her stories, she told him secrets, and towards the end of the night, she even invited Mimir to watch her fall asleep, because of course Mimir doesn't sleep. The following morning, however, they took a boat along the Lake of Nine, and Mimir, well, he put his foot in it. Whilst on the lake, they rowed past Sigrun's family treasury, where we found out that she cursed her brother over forbidden love. And Mimir remembered at the time feeling grateful that the treasury was deep and buried underwater, where she could never see it again. However, in that exact moment, Sigrun turned to Mimir and said, Mimir, I think I might be smitten for you. I think maybe I want to kiss you." This threw Mimir off there and then, took him off guard, and Mimir was completely honest with her at this point. He told her his feelings for her there and then, and that his feelings for her ran as deep as Rand's Hall. It had been like that for the longest time, as long as they'd known each other. But it was at this point that Mimir felt inferior. He felt that he'd never been enough for Sigrun, and he'd never be able to give her what she deserved. After all, he was just ahead. Mimir told Sigrun that he didn't think he could give her what she needed, or love as a partner. Mimir couldn't bring himself to go ahead with it. He described it as, imagine knowing from the start that you're not good enough for someone, for that one person that you love, and slowly starting to see them also live out that realization of that truth, further and further as you go on. Mimir didn't want to be in that situation. It gave him chills to the bone. Mimir only presumed how she'd feel in the future. He never thought about how she felt now. Both of them have romanticized being with each other, but it's Mimir that has the lingering doubt. Mimir wants Sigrun to be with someone that she deserves, someone that will give her everything that she's always wanted and deserved. And Mimir, although he is the smartest man alive, he has serious doubts. But Mimir has major regrets over this, and Kratos believes he needs to believe in himself more and have some more self-confidence. However, earlier on in the story, Kratos and Mimir were free-falling in Valhalla to their sudden death, until Sigrun came out of nowhere to save them. Now, in order to enter Valhalla in general, you need to have previously died, or be injured in a way that would be acceptable to enter Valhalla and to be accepted in. And Sigrun was never either. She forced herself into Valhalla to save Kratos and Mimir. This could have damaged her chances of going into Valhalla when it was her time. Mimir, however, throughout this time was on his own journey in Valhalla alongside Kratos. Every time Helios would replace Mimir on Kratos' back, Mimir would be transported to his own Valhalla, one with much less combat and one with much more interpersonal memories. His adventures with King Oberon would spark back from his youth when he was in captivity as well, and his favourite thing of all, dreaming. He's missed dreaming because it's a relief. It projects your hidden desires, anxieties, like a Bifrost window staring into your soul. This was a reset for Mimir, and like Kratos trying to find himself, Mimir was also doing exactly that alongside him. There was one story in particular, one flashback that Mimir mentioned during his journey in Valhalla when we were with Helios and he was in her forest. Mimir was transported back to a forest and was reunited with his old boss, King Oberon. This was Mimir's first master, and this was the story that Valhalla had Mimir relive. Love was what King Oberon felt was the most important to him. One time, however, he led his entire entourage to a wedding between the Duke and Queen, which was organised as a part of a peace treaty, and this was based just outside of Athens, which I found quite interesting. However, the whole way there, King Oberon was bickering and arguing with his queen. Anyway, they settled down and they see a group of youths. King Oberon tells Mimir to grab a magical flower. He told Mimir that it was to help them find love and to help the youths find love with one another. But in reality, he used the flower on one of the women. And he did it to make his wife jealous. And he used it on himself. Mimir would go on to remember everything about his time with Oberon and return to the shores and tell Sigrun of what he'd been seeing and dreaming of, and how it was a good time for reflection and a time that he was able to stand up and leave on his own terms when he saw what King Oberon really was. But how did Sigrun and Mimir meet? Well, Sigrun had an ambition to transcend the physical plane and become a Valkyrie of Valhalla. She arrived from a place called Fortulund and began serving as Freya's handmaiden while she undertook training for the sisterhood, the Valkyrie. Mimir wouldn't speak to her, but he'd see her around the court, around Asgard. He always observed her, but never stemmed up the courage to walk over and speak to her. He didn't ever think they'd get on as well as they do. They first spoke long ago, back when Freya was the queen of Asgard. Freya was the type of queen that would build a culture around the place. It was a good time there. There would be musicians playing, poets, and contortionists here and there. On one occasion, Mimir took a seat waiting to watch a show, and all of a sudden, in walks Sigrun. And of all the places that she could have sat, she sat right next to Mimir. Mimir described her as looking as the most beautiful that she'd ever looked before, that he'd ever seen her. It was at that point, Mimir felt sick with anxiety, but as he started to speak with her, he started to make her laugh. That anxiety quickly diminished away, and the happiness he felt when he started making her laugh and seeing her happy, well, that's where he knew that it was true love. This was the perfect icebreaker, and after this they'd speak pretty much every single day, much and much more. She started introducing Mimir to people around Asgard as a really good friend to her. Kratos, however, at this point stopped Mimir and asked him if he was upset that she referred to him as a friend, referring basically to being friend-zoned, in which Mimir responded with the most elite response to this question. Tell me someone for whom's friendship means lack of love, and I'll show you someone who wonders why their lovers are never worth their time. I like that. I think that's a really, really good comeback. But why was Mimir so reluctant to tell Sigrun how he felt? Well, she was in the Valkyries. She was training. She had enough on her mind at that point in time that this would have just overloaded it. A unique, heartfelt friendship is what she could have enjoyed at that time. He didn't want to ruin the chance or chemistry between them, so that's exactly how he left it. Sigrun, however, tells Kratos and Mimir that Valhalla is displeased with her. After breaking her way in to save Kratos and Mimir, Valhalla wants Sigrun to undergo a series of trials to reforge her loyalty towards it. Sigrun decided at this point to leave. Valhalla has penalised her, and she's not even sure if it will welcome her in death because of it. However, Sigrun is not regretful about her decision for saving Mimir and Kratos. Sigrun isn't sure if Valhalla is her priority, however. The costs and risks of what Valhalla would put her through, it's enough to make her question if it's really worth doing and question what's most important to her. If she can't answer that, then maybe she's not ready to reforge that trust just yet. Maybe she needs to focus on other things. Valhalla has a way of making you learn what you need to learn. A way of making you find out who you really are. Long ago, Sigrun gave herself completely to love and destroyed her family and her home. This is the reason she joined the Valkyrie and threw herself into service of Valhalla. But Sigrun doesn't just want that to be her path. She wants to find herself and figure out what it is that she actually wants to do next. Sigrun at this time made a decision. She, at this moment in time, decided to take a step back, travel, experience the realms and the lands of beyond. Not as Valhalla's emissary, but as a person. Mimir offered to join Sigrun on this journey, but she didn't seem all too open in her answer, very hesitant to say yes. She didn't specify completely as a given answer to say no to Mimir, but it was the tone of her voice that suggested it. Mimir, however, knew the answer to that even before he asked. It wasn't an intentional way of him being rejected, but he knows that the true journey she seeks is one of self-reflection and one where she needs to become one with herself. Mimir being there would disrupt exactly that. She needs to take time to understand who she was without her wings. She slowly broke the news to Mimir, however, telling him she needed to do this without him. She needed to do it alone. It was tough for Mimir to hear and to take, but ultimately, he respected it. Helios accompanied Kratos for a period of time, and in that time, it was when Mimir was sent off to his own Valhalla again. This time, however, was different. There were no young youths there, no dukes or queens. However, he was still in possession of this love flower, and who did Valhalla present in front of him? Sigrun. With a few drops of this flower, Sigrun could have been in an obsessive love with Mimir, making him care more about him than anything in the world. But Mimir, however, did the right thing and crushed the flower with his bare hands, much to Kratos' delight. Mimir, however, tells Sigrun face to face. He tells her he wants to go and find herself. Mimir, however, tells Sigrun face to face. He tells her that he wants her to go and find herself. He's not going to be the one to hold her back, and if all she needs is for him to be let go, then he'll find a way to do that. He wants her to put herself first, and he can't wait to see the woman that she becomes after her journey's complete. Sigrun in this time was relieved, and said that arrangements were being made for her to be able to go on this journey. Mimir was understandably heartbroken, but Kratos here used the perfect example to put things into perspective. When Kratos met Faye, he was moulded into a better man, but when he lost Faye, he still didn't stop growing, evolving, and learning. Love turned Kratos into a better person, and this is not the end of Mimir. Sigrun, however, was near to her departure. She will wait on the shore for us to say her goodbyes.
So this is it then?
For now. For however long.
Good. I mean, I'll miss you more than I can say, but whatever we ever were, or weren't, or might have been if the timing weren't just so... I need you to know that it mattered. All of it. Knowing you helped make me a person I can stand to be. And all I want for you in exchange is... everything.
I can't imagine a world in which I don't end up very close with you, my love. But let me come back to you whole. Let me come back not needing anyone to tell me what I need to be happy.
I can't begrudge you getting to know yourself. After all, it's been one of the great pleasures of my life.
Farewell, Sigrun, and good luck.
Thank you, Kratos. Farewell, my friends.
Fair winds, my love.
Well, that was the emotional story of Mimir and Sigrun. This, I think, will point towards what's potentially going to happen after God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. that's not only this one person that's went on a journey to find themselves. Tyr did the same thing and ended up in Valhalla. Sigrun is also going to do the same thing and journey far beyond these lands, not as an emissary for Valhalla, but as a person. And I think this is where the next game will really come into fruition, or the next DLC, if there will be one, where we potentially are hinted again at additional places that these characters and these different people are visiting across the world, and not just across the 9 realms. Of course, ultimately, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, but I definitely do think that Santa Monica are trying to play with us here and toy with us, and I'm all for it, to be honest. I love the chase, and I love the detective work to try and figure out what the hell is going on. But if you did enjoy the video, everyone, leave a like, it'd be very much appreciated. Subscribe if you guys are brand new as well to the channel for plenty more God of War content coming. If there's an area of God of War Valhalla you want me to cover in terms of lore and story, leave the comments down below, and I'll probably end up doing a video on it anyway. But have a good rest of your day, everyone. We'll see you guys next time.